And in addition to the sample chemistry lesson that I shared, I thought I would also share a couple other options for how Kolibri can look in the classroom. So that chemistry lesson example actually fits in with the rotation model in the middle. If you think about each step as a station in the rotation, but this could also take the form of a class being divided into 3 different groups. So one group working with the teacher, one group working with Kolibri, and then one group doing something else independently. And it can also be used entirely self-paced. So Kolibri has some features for a learner to track their own progress independently, and then to be guided to the next resource in a module. And then lastly, during the pandemic, we've been exploring the at-home model more. So we have an early version of an Android app that our team is focusing on improving this year for larger scale use, but the data syncing in Kolibri has enabled being able to learn from Kolibri on a device at home, and then to bring it back to school to sync data with a teacher's computer. I'll also just share how other countries and organizations have used Kolibri slightly differently based on their needs. So the first image here is from Mexico. They used both a computer lab desktop model as well as one where a laptop and tablets could be moved between classes. The second picture is in India, where they also used a mobile server and tablet setup. Then with UN Women, we built an online hosted Kolibri server where women with the internet could learn at home and then come into kind of in-person education hubs for classes. So it was kind of a non-traditional flipped model. And then lastly, we worked with Vodafone in 6 countries to make Kolibri available free of data charges on Vodafone devices, which is also a more of a self-paced kind of informal learning model on mobile phones. And then because a lot of the examples thus far were a bit higher touch in terms of teachers having a strong role in assigning lessons and quizzes, I also wanted to give you one last example that's a bit lower touch. So in Kakuma Refugee Camp, they have learning hubs that are open for anyone to come in and access. And the learners there are primarily exploring on Kolibri independently, but then coaches are available to help them find relevant content and to create accounts to track their progress. So we've actually also seen this model in formal schools as well, either through like an after-school program or ICT clubs, but more kind of non-formal options outside of the classroom or the class day. So now bringing it back to Uganda to wrap my time up, there have been many motivated adopters of Kolibri here, and the success has really been due to these various factors. A key one, obviously, being UNICEF, who led the initial pilot to set the groundwork for a lot of these other initiatives that have built off of their work, including with HP and ECW. And we have also collaborated with UNHCR for implementation in a number of refugee and host community sites. And they were also integral in building a relationship with SESMAT trainers. Now we are currently launching a new project-based learning program at the primary level with HAF that is including looking at how Kolibri can be integrated with playful learning approaches with specific support for social emotional learning for refugee learners. But my particular role here is largely in supporting community adoption. So thinking through how to best support teachers like yourselves in having the resources that you need to start using Kolibri and really make it your own. So my last slide is some resources on getting started. So we have a download page and some documentation, as well as an online demo site if you want to test it out first. And this is all available on our website. And I've added my email address here if there are any questions I can answer, if you want to chat about what's possible in your schools. If you do end up using Kolibri, we are always eager to hear about it and to find ways that we can share your work back with the community. So I'll just, I think, end by saying that I think it's fantastic that this group exists. I have been in contact with Isaac over the last year or so and was more recently introduced to Steve, but these are the real experts who have been using Kolibri and creating impact with it firsthand. So I just want to say thank you for all of the great work that you're doing, and thank you for this opportunity.